But the
And
thing is, when wickets are falling at a regular interval, you don't really have to do much. You just stick to your basics
right.
at that point. You don't have to do anything out of your way
Do
to
you
get a wicket.
do you think Mushrafik told them in the dressing room that, hey guys, let's just keep it simple and see if you can pick up any wickets and just take it on from there? Hey guys, so this is the 10th episode of the Yorker. Welcome back, all the listeners, and I understand we have some questions as well from one of the listeners, and we'll address them later on. But just to begin, I don't know if it shows it or not in my face, Rinat's face, Mufi's face, but really pumped up about the win. Feels good. It was a clutch game, but we got it done. Somehow, I don't know how, but we got it done. Roller coaster of emotions is a cliche, but I think it does apply because we started out 3 for 3 if you include what happened to Tamim. But then somehow Mitun and Mushfiqur they recovered. Then there was another collapse. Then Miras finally started to get going, and then there was a really good catch by Lakmal, so that brought us down again. And then again, the Sikutsi was up and down all the way throughout. And even Sri Lanka, when they batted, they started out with a bang, but then Mushrafik Curb brought them back, pulled back the reins. So how are you feeling, guys, after that win? I personally speaking, I all my focus is towards Afghanistan now, but I realize we're gonna do another part. So for this episode, listeners, we'll just cover the Sri Lanka game. So I'd like to open it up with Rinat. How do you feel, man?
Yeah, I think it was a good game. There's a lot of positives that we can take from the first game, especially just the mere fact that we have become a team that can recover from a difficult situation. We can make a comeback. Back in the days, it used to be like once we fall in that hole, we can't come back. But we were actually in a pretty big trouble, as you stated, and we came back really well. It was pretty remarkable how Mitun and Mushfiq made a good comeback. So for me, that probably was the biggest positive of the game. And even then, another positive that I noticed, it was a pretty small one, but I felt like our bowlers actually batted better than I've seen them bat in a while. Like they all chipped in like 10, 12 runs. It's not much, but we weren't seeing even that much previously. So I feel like our batting consultant did some minor work, and it's important if you think about it. If the three bowlers have added like I don't know even 25 runs, that 25 runs is huge in the context of a modern day game. So yeah, it was a great game in terms of what we learned, and I feel like there are more things that we can work on, and I feel like Mufi can talk about it and tell us a little bit about what he thinks that we should fix as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was an amazing game for any fan of our team, and self-belief. Self-belief is the only way I would describe this, our first win against Sri Lanka. Because coming from the situation, losing 2 wickets and then losing Tamim Iqbal, and having a new batsman coming in Mitu and Mushfiq, they had the self-belief in them, in the team, that we can recover, and if we post a decent score, we should be able to win. And I think that attitude showed in the way both Mushfiq and Mitten played. They played with very good attitude, and they were trying to score as many runs as possible. They were not just trying to keep their wickets at the same time. So I think overall, and then even when as you said, the lower order, when Miraz, Rubel, Mustafiz, I was quite impressed with their batting. Especially the way Mustafiz was trying to hit the ball towards the end and not trying to just rotate the strike. So that it showed that they have a lot of confidence in them. I don't know where it came from. Could be the new batting coach, but overall, if we, yeah, I mean, obviously Mushfiq played the game of his life, and Tamim's heroics will be talked about for years to come. But even without that, the attitude of the team was very positive. The self belief was there. I don't know, it could be the effect of our captain and the coach. But overall, I think that's where the key moments there was a lot of key moments in this game, and I think Bangladesh won all of those key moments, and that made the difference between winning and losing. Especially the fact Sri Lanka could not capitalize on the fact that we lost those early wickets. After Miras got out, they could not, get us out very quickly. And I think we added like 60 runs with the last two wickets, with Mustafiz and Tamim came in. So in those moments, Sri Lanka could not capitalize. And same thing with when Mashrafi and Fiz were bowling, Sri Lanka got off to a very good start. I think they were scoring like at a very high rate for the first 3 overs, and then they lost the first wicket.
Right.
So even at that, 260 was a par score. It was not a 300 score. Was not a 320 score. So a very good start could have been very nervy for our bowling, but I think they did the right thing. And Mustafiz and Mashfiq got those early wickets, and from there on, we just had the full control of the game.
Right. I want to keep the topic to bowling a little bit because I feel like in an earlier episode we got some things right, but we also got some things wrong. So Rinat, how'd you think our boys were so effective at keeping Sri Lanka at the bay? Because Mushraf's first over again, and maybe I have it out for him or something, but I was gonna go all out on him, but then again he proved me wrong with the one that he got by getting Darunga out. So how are they able to do it?
Uh, I think more than the credit to the bowlers, I think the Sri Lankans got their strategy completely wrong. Um, they went after our bowling. It was not the smartest thing to do, especially when you're chasing a par total. You don't need to go out all attacking at the very beginning. And I feel like that kind of played against them. What their strategy was, if I understood, is that they wanted to, attack us out of the game. But what they didn't realize is that our bowling attack heavily relies on Mashrafi getting a breakthrough. If Mashrafi does not get a breakthrough, we have very few bowlers that can actually take wickets in the first 10 or 15 overs, right? It's him who opens the wicket column. So they should have just seen him off and fizz off. After that, it would have been a lot easier. But I think they got their strategies wrong. But of course, if you look at their bowling, I mean, Mashrafi, I wouldn't blame him anything for the first over because he was not expecting Taranga to go after him at the first over. He was just enticing him with fuller deliveries and shorter outside offs just to entice him. It happens early on.
Very disciplined attack, wasn't it? Like just one no ball, I believe, the whole no one wide or one no ball
Well,
the whole innings.
yeah, but the thing is, when wickets are falling at a regular interval, you don't really have to do much. You just stick to your basics
Right.
at that point. You don't have to do anything out of your way to get a wicket.
Do you think Mashrafi told them in the dressing room that, hey guys, let's just keep it simple and see if you can pick up any wickets and just take it on from there? Because it seemed like that might have been something that might have been the speech they gave him because I've never seen them bowl so straight and so full for most of the innings. And once they got those early innings, I felt they had a chokehold on the match, and they're gonna let Sri Lanka win from there on. Mufi, what do you think about the Bangladesh bowling? Were you after the 260 that we scored? Did you feel confident enough that we were going to win the game?
I think the way we ended the innings after the Tamim's heroics and Mushfiq's late hitting, we had the upper hand in the game and the confidence. So that's why I think that helped. That kind of put a dent in the confidence of the Sri Lankans. But if I look at the overall batting scorecard and anyone who watched the game, it was all a Mushfiq show. 144 scoring. Mithun did his contribution of 60, but other than these two, there was none of the batsmen showed up. Of course, Tamim, we have to make an exception, but Liton, Shakib, Riyad, and also Shoikat, Hussaddek Hussain. So I think all four, they had a very bad game. And if this was not for Mushfiq, 144, let's imagine if he put up even 100, if we got out right after his 100, our score would have been much lower. So it was not an overall a good batting performance. So I think the other batsman has to step up, and it could be the nerves. The first game, Liton and Shakib in the first over of Liton, he Shakib got a very good ball, but I think the other players could not just capitalize. And the Sri Lankan bowling overall was not that great, to be honest, except for Lasith Malinga. The other Lakmal was had good control, but other than that, their slow bowlers and their spinners were very ordinary. So I think Bangladesh should have scored more than 260, but I mean, we recovered well from the situation that we are in, but you have to understand that it was ourselves that put us into that situation to start with. So I was expecting some maturity from Riyadh because he came in, and for a batsman of his experience, he should have been playing a supporting role to Mushfiq, but he had no need to play that kind of shot. Mossadegh, I still believe, should not be part of our ODI team. Liton he's been given a lot of chances, so he should be able to take those chances and put up a good score. So Shakib had a bad game, so I can make an exception for that. But overall, I was not happy except for Mushfiq's, and also very surprised with Mithun. To be honest, I have to mention him coming into the national squad after a long time and into that situation after those early wickets. He came in and played a very good innings. Yes, there were some drop chances overall, but I think our batsmen should score more than 280 in that pitch. And I don't know, what do you think, Rinat?
Yeah, I feel like the other batsman can take a lot of heart from what Mushfiq did. I mean, his innings was perfect. He never really played too many dot balls. He never let pressure build on himself. He was just playing the ball to its merit, and I think that worked. Now, it was disappointing by how Riyadh got out. I was pretty disappointed. I get it that he's an aggressive batsman now, and he is basically a finisher. But as a senior player, he needs to be able to play in all different types of situations. Um, and yeah, I feel like we were definitely capable of scoring more, and it could have been 20 to 30 extra runs very easily. And if you look at the scorecard, that 20 to 30 runs could have came from anywhere, really. Uh, so there's a lot to learn from the batting department, but again, I feel like uh, it's understandable to an extent. Malinga was having a very good game, and it's early tournament for season series opener jitters, so I understand that. As long as they come back on the next game, I wouldn't worry too much. But I want to ask Roey though, because Mitun's innings was quite a surprise, and the fact that he actually batted that high was a surprise because we were all hearing about the fact that he's in as a finisher. He actually batted a lot higher. So, what did you think about Mitun's innings?
Oh, it was fantastic, and I know you backed him as well, even from his performances versus Ireland A team. You picked him on pretty early on, and I went to see him instead of Ariful, and I think it was a good decision. It was a surprise, like you said, to see him that high up, but at that time we just needed a supporting partner for Raheem, Mushfiqur Raheem. So I'm happy Mitun could provide that for him. So much so, in fact, that normally Mushfiq scores at a higher rate, which he didn't have to do. He could just relax, keep settling in, keep facing more deliveries, and let Mitun do all the work from the other end. So it was fantastic. The only question then, I also wanted to ask you this is, where does it go on from here? Because we're trying to replace an aging team. Can Muhammad Mitun, can he stake out a spot for himself on the back of that performance? What does he have to do? uh, Rinat, I know you still play cricket yourself. Like going into the next match, what can we realistically expect from Mitun?
Well, I don't wanna go too much into details with Mitun on this episode, but I'll just say this:
Sure.
for Mitun, it's a confusing situation because he was brought in as a finisher, and now he just played a top order role, sort of a top order role, and it looks like it may be the same. It may go the same way in the next match with Tamim out of the Tamim being out of the team. So it's a confusing situation, but I do hope that all those chances that he initially gave, it was because of the nerves. I mean, it's not easy. When he came into the squad the last time, he didn't really get a lot of chance. So I guess that was probably playing on the back of his mind that he needs to make it count from the first game. So I hope that early game jitters is gone and he's more relaxed. He understands the fact that he can have a permanent spot, and he takes it easy. I feel like if he's more relaxed, which he was against spinners, I think that's when he played a much more attacking and a better game overall.
Right. It was a good game overall. I think we've covered a lot of things. We'll just round this up by uh, identifying what we can really improve on, or the things that are gonna stick in your mind, what you didn't like, uh, what transpired of the game. And one of the things that comes to mind is the drop chance by Oku. I still can't believe what really happened. Probably a miscommunication between Liton and him and Mash. And what was I gonna say? I kind of lost my train of thought. But
You're saying what can we learn from this game and what can you fix for the next game, right?
right. So, but we'll cover that more once we talk about once we talk about the game we have on the 20th versus Afghanistan. But oh yeah, now I remember. I like Mufi's approach of going into it player by player. I can excuse Shakib. He got a peach of a delivery. Even Riyadh, I understand what he was trying to do. It went for a cross-batted shot. It got the top edge, unfortunately. So I can excuse him for that, but I'm not letting Liton go that easy. Same with Musadik. I'm not letting them go. I thought that was pretty stupid. Liton clearly has some technical flaws on the offside. It was an edge, and Musadik. It kind of reminded me of those shots Habibul Bashar would play, chasing balls all the way to the leg side. So just wanted to hear your opinion on that, and then we'll finish this episode off. So Mossadegh and Liton, are these signs of worry? Should we be worried seeing seeing this type of shots from them going
I
forward?
mean, it is very worrisome because, as you said, we can make an excuse for Shakib and Riyadh, but I don't think we should excuse Liton and Mossadegh at this point. These guys are the young players, and they're not performing to their capability. And I think even Mashrafi said the same thing after the game in the conference that these young players should now step up. And even before the start of the Asia Cup, one of the reporters was asking Mashrafi about these young players, and he said that we should not call them young players anymore because most of these players, when you're talking about Liton, Mossadegh, Shabir, Shomu, have been playing with this team for at least 2 to 3 years now. So they should take more responsibility. They should. Our entire team has been riding on this Fab Five. I keep calling, and you keep smirking when I mention this Fab Five, but
True.
Liton and Mossadegh are now the young players in this team. We don't have Shabir, we don't have Shomu anymore. So out of all those pool of the young players, we have these two in the team right now. And Liton is very nervous in the first couple of overs, and Mossadegh had a very good a very good chance to prove his worth in this team and stake his role in the team, but he could not. And I think that is very worrisome. And I think Habibullah Shuman, one of the national selectors, said the same thing in an article in Protomalo, I think. I think Protomalo did a segment on this, not on this Asia Cup, but on our entire cricket in general. So he said the same thing. They're trying to give chances to these young players, but these young players are not taking these chances and proving their worth. So it's not only the fans, it's the captain himself, Mashrafi, is the coach, and it's the entire BCB and the selection committee is feeling the same thing. So it is a worrisome across the board, no matter who you talk to.
Right. Well said, Mufi. So I know I said before we're gonna close this out, but I just remembered we had a question from Naeem, a listener. He's on the Bangla Credit Forum as well. And what was
Yeah.
his question? Does anyone have it out?
Uh,
I think I remember it now.
yeah, yeah. I'll ask you the question. So, if you can answer that for us, Roey. So the question from Naeem was, what would have happened if Tamim had gotten injured when he came back to face the one or two deliveries, and what would have happened if he actually got out? Will our reactions be the same? If you could just sum it up for us, the answer.
I could only sum it up for myself because I think this
Yeah.
is a subjective response. For me, it would have been the same. It would have been the same because I would still commend Tamim for coming out there, showing a lot of respect. Uh, Cricket is not my say favorite sport, but I still remember Graham Smith doing the same thing. I believe there are more guys who did it, but I tell you that list cannot be more than 5 people. This is a very exclusive list. We're talking about people sacrificing their bodies, taking one for the team. So he showed great courage, but we fans tend to get emotional, and I don't know what others would have thought. But I would have, regardless of the outcome, maybe even if you got out, I still would respect Dami for coming out. And those 30 runs really gave us a boost. Like Mufi said before, it gave us tremendous momentum. And we were lucky that we could capitalize on that and get this clutch victory that we needed. Were there any more questions, Rinat, or
No, 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 we're good. I think, yeah, we I don't know about Mufi, but I kind of agree with what you said. I mean, it was the intent that was the difference. It's not about the fact that whether the effort was successful or not. It's just the sheer willingness to to get the team that extra edge, even if it's for 5 runs or 10 runs.
And I'd like to end this episode with the same thing. What Tamim Iqbal did in that ODI will be talked about for years and decades to come. For
Yeah.
any Bangladeshi fan, for any Bangladeshi players, and the future players, the young players right now, will take a lot of inspiration from this act because this Asia Cup meant a lot for Tamim. He was practicing really hard during the Eid break, and after the game, he was asked like what was going through his mind at that moment, and he said that he was feeling very emotional, and he was not thinking about the consequences because Mashrafi came up with the idea in the dressing room, and he could not even put his pads on. And this was the first time he said that someone else put my chest guard and the pads on for me. So for a player like Tamim, who
wow,
has been playing in international cricket for 10 years, who's been playing in in his entire life. He's 29 years old. So this is the first time someone else put up his own chest guard and pads. So, and he said that I knew this was the last ball I might face in this Asia Cup, and it was all that emotion that was just in his mind. So after that, he said after the game, after everything that has happened, now he understood what he did, the consequences of this.
right,
So, so this is what a sports person, and he just said this one thing that beautifully summarizes this entire thing. He said, like, I wanted to do as much as I could for my team and my country, for my nation. So this will be talked about, and it just showed a couple of things that how seriously, especially Tamim, Mushfiq, and Shakib takes this team, and it was those three that took our game to the next level from the years of Habibul Bashar, from the years of Jabed Omar or Ashraful Rafta, and is this three that is trying to take our game to the level of a truly international team. And I think we will all remember this. And I'm proud and I'm very fortunate to witness such a thing from Tamim Iqbal.
right. Yeah, you can't top that. And with that, I'm gonna leave you with this warm, fuzzy feeling you have because of the heroics of Tamim and even Mushfik in 105-degree Fahrenheit to come up with the innings like that. So thanks, guys, for joining us for this episode. We kept it crisp, covered as many topics as we could, and we'll see you on the other side. Tune in for our Afghanistan episode as well. So thanks, guys. Thanks to my co-host as
Thank
well
you.
for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.